So we are talking about the 2016 movie The Suffering. This one is directed by Robert Hamilton, who also co-wrote this. And basically the story of this one is basically about this guy who is an appraiser, and he's basically been summoned to a large kind of stately home to, you know, just by the owner to appraise the property, to appraise its contents, to give it some kind of value. And he's got a bit of an emotional baggage going on. Basically, this guy, he's, you know, he's got a pregnant wife, he's got extramarital affairs to contend with, so he's got a few issues, you might say. And he goes to this this kind of large house, and he meets the owner and his kind of staff. And this, you know, he seems on the surface to be somewhat friendly, but as the film progresses, there seems to be some kind of sinister thing going on, and I actually expect things get weirder and weirder, and more stuff starts to happen. So what do I think about The Suffering? Well, I have to say, the first half of this movie I was quite engaged. I thought the premise was quite interesting. It reminded me a little bit of the movie Executioners initially, and you know, the actual property that it's filmed on, it looks quite kind of like it could be quite a spooky place. There's kind of like hints of various different things that could be happening there, and you feel, is this kind of going to be some kind of haunting movie, or is this going to be some kind of like it's all in his head type thing, or he's kind of being manipulated, all that sort of thing? So there are some sort of questions. But then we get to the halfway mark, and there's a point in the movie where the main character finds this kind of like this weird sort of Gollum looking bloke in this kind of barn, and he gets hit over the head, and then from that point it just gets ridiculous. Unfortunately, from that point it loses all credibility for me. There's the decisions that are made by the characters become illogical, and you just can't really buy into anything that happens. There's other sort of characters that are kind of introduced that you feel are completely peripheral, and it really just kind of loses steam and kind of ends up sort of spinning its own wheels. So I quite enjoyed the build-up of the first half of this movie. I thought the acting was all quite good. It was, you know, a good kind of like creepy atmosphere to it. There's not much in the way of gore, but there are a couple of like sort of good prosthetic body effects and things like that. But once we get to that second half, it really lost me, unfortunately. It just becomes unbelievable, just becomes a little bit kind of like pretentious, I think. And it really kind of lost me. Just the plot becomes too muddled and just unbelievable. Characters just simply acted in an illogical manner. So I really lost it from that point on. So overall, I have to say I was kind of disappointed. I was quite invested in this movie up until the halfway point, but obviously it loses me from that point onwards, basically. And it's literally about halfway. So I was going to simply give this movie a 4 out of 10. It was, you know, probably not worth your time if I'm completely honest, but there were some elements that you could probably find some enjoyment out of. Anyway, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.